Hello everyone, I'm CrispyDrone. Today I'm bringing you a supplementary video to the tutorial about 12 pool versus 9 pool. I didn't want you to think I was trying to get away with not showing how to defend against an aggressive 9 pool, considering it is a very crucial part of the matchup and might even be the moment you are struggling with most. The game I'll be highlighting today was also very educational for myself, which is why I'm so keen on showing it to you. Let's dive right into it. As mentioned previously, practice on splitting your drones properly. New workers should be sent to different patches, ideally the ones with the highest gathering rate. Let's speed things up a bit. I'm opening with a 12 pool again into an extractor and a natural hatchery. The specifics of the build order can be found in the previous tutorial. Now my first overlord has vision of the natural at the 7 o'clock base. I don't see a hatchery morphing, so I continue towards the main. I do spot one of his overlords. When you compare the positioning between my second overlord at my natural and his that's only just leaving his main, it should be clear that he did not go straight for an overlord at 9 population. We also meet his links when we're at the base of the ramp. We're positive he opened with a 9 pool now. Since the spawns are close position, we're in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, I'm continuously producing zerglings, getting my metabolic speed, and I pull 2 drones off gas to help defend. Remember the technique of using one hotkey containing all of your zerglings and your drones, and a separate second hotkey containing only the drones. Now you don't need to force any engagements. Time is on your side. You will soon have your second hatchery and get a zergling advantage. It's also in your favor to take engagements with equal losses on both sides, as your opponent will need his zerglings to stay alive once the production of your second hatchery kicks in. Be sure not to overextend. In other words, stay close to your hatchery. Remember, his speed will finish almost half a minute before yours. Now you might have noticed something's off so far. My opponent actually did not go for speed first. Normally his speed should finish roughly 15 seconds before my natural hatchery finishes. His spire timing is also really early. One mistake I made in this game was identifying this way too late. I lost a lot of mining time for my 2 guarding drones. I was afraid of his zerglings, which also led to me not producing my overlord at 16 population. Because of this I had 6 idle larvae. Imagine if I had made 12 extra zerglings out of these. Finally, my decision making during the counterattack was poor. The morphing spire baited me into attacking it. What I should have done instead was go for his gas mining drones and preserve my zerglings. Then when the reinforcing 12 zerglings would have arrived, I could have had almost 20 zerglings, which probably would have been able to end the game right there. My other option would have been to again attack his gas mining drones and preserve the zerglings, but instead make drones. Those 8 or so zerglings that I would have kept could have been used to delay his natural expansion. What actually happened was my losing 6 or so of those 8 zerglings, leaving him free to make his expansion immediately. In the end, this resulted in equal second geyser timings. This made it very difficult to catch up in Mutalisk numbers, and consequently he was allowed to take a free third base. In this game, I started building my evolution chamber right as his spire finishes. As you can see, my spores were up right on time to defend against his Mutalisks. Always remember to try to hide or send back any overlords you have out on the map, so you don't lose them unnecessarily as I did in this game. Most of the time, I do tend to keep the one that has vision of his main in place, since I want to know how many Mutalisks he builds, if any. As overlords are so slow, it will be difficult to maneuver it into a location where his Mutalisks won't find it. I tend to value the extra information more than the attempt to save that single overlord. In case he tries to trick you and builds drones instead of Mutalisks, you can delay the morphing the colonies into spores until it's necessary. Every mineral counts after all. As you can see, my opponent currently has a third base and a lot more Mutalisks than I have. There's no real possibility for me to secure a third base unless I try to hide it. This essentially leaves me with one option, trying to get attack advantage. I tried to then go for Hive to get Devours and hope they would allow me to win a big fight. In retrospect, this wasn't that bad of an idea, but I think I not only overinvested in some upgrades that weren't going to benefit me at all, such as +1 melee attack and adrenal glands, but also believe it could have been better to go for Defilers instead of Devours. Defilers are very effective against large flocks of Mutalisks, and I had already given my opponent such a long time to mine gas from his third base. I tried to get a third base going, but as you can see he has an overwhelming amount of Mutalisks. Maybe a better strategy for me would have been to counter-attack him with a group of Mutalisks instead of trying to defend my base. Having some Zerglings on the map to spot his units moving out would have been very helpful. Now that I've lost my third base, I'm just aiming for one final attack together with the help of Devours, but his Mutalisk's numbers are just too high. So in conclusion, I defended properly against his initial Zerglings. Unfortunately, I realized way too late he went for a lair first style. I could have mined more minerals and marshaled a much stronger attack. Finally, some bad decision making allowed him to defend my attack with minimal losses and take his natural expansion uncontested. This all led to him matching and eventually outpacing my gas income, combined with a big initial advantage in Mutalisk numbers. I'm CrispyDrone, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time for the following tutorial.
Evolution complete.